I don't know what I'm gonna do. They cut the stamps off and I can't feed them. I got 7 mouths looking at me and I can't even stand long enough to cook. They're gonna go hungry.
People frequently claim that immigrants and poor black families are living off the system. They're on welfare. They're mooching. But here is the truth. The majority of people on public assistance in the United States of America are white.
Give us our food stamps! 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 Give us our food stamps!
Yeah. I don't know. Y'all, I don't know how I landed on white TikTok, but y'all, the white TikTokers are in shambles because their benefits are being cut off.
I've always wondered this, is how did SNAP food stamp get equated to the black community? Like, I really want to know. It don't have to be a documentary, but I love a short 1-minute video of how those two got coincided. Because we know this for a fact that 75% of recipients of SNAP food stamp are white people. And then the rest are people of color, children who don't have parents who are basically raising themselves. Those are the population of people, right? We're talking about 75% of the welfare queens, right, are white people. So if we know this, right, when that man said he was about to go do what he was about to go do, y'all voted for him anyways for a second term. Don't know why, but nevertheless, right? Now y'all talking about, oh, I never voted for this. This wasn't a part of the deal. This wasn't what he said he was going to do. No, you assumed that everything that he was going to do was going to personally attack people of color. And now that you're tasting a lot of the karma, as I would say, you know what I'm saying, of the things that you've chosen to do, now you're upset, now you're mad. But you're not mad enough. Because imagine when November, no food stamp. December, no food stamp. January, no food stamp. Y'all are about to lose your mind. And I hope you grab that anger and you fuel it properly and you go towards the person that's causing you this problem. Not us black people, not us people of color or POCs, but that man. I hope so, but nevertheless, you know that people of color are always the punching bag for people who are less wealthy and less powerful. So they got to attack us because we're the closest denominator for them to be able to feel like they're superior than they actually are. But nevertheless, I hope you guys remember, because we won't forget. North will never forget. The North will always remember, because this man is systematically breaking everything that has taken 15, 20, 30 years to us to put forth to help our communities, and now they're gone.
Baby, white TikTok is in a frenzy, and while I have my voice right now, I'm going to use that hoe. They don't understand how their SNAP benefits are being cut off in November. They literally thought when they heard SNAP benefits, it was only going to hit the black folks, okay? Now, I'm going to say this. When the government shuts down, it does not just shut down for one particular group of people. It shuts down for everybody and they fucking mama. So yes, white people in the Midwest, these Appalachian white folks, y'all ain't gonna have y'all shit either. Now I am gonna say this. When you decided to vote for that man, you put a wild card on the table during Uno. You don't know which way this man is gonna go. And no, I am not blaming Democrats once again. They are holding the fucking line for the Affordable Care Act and Medicaid. Something you white folks on SNAP need. So y'all better buckle up. Now, if there's an uptick in shoplifting in grocery stores, if y'all see that shit, be like Pam on Martin. I ain't seen jack. Because we ain't seen none of it. Now, food banks are going to have a hard time because you already got federal workers that don't have any benefits whatsoever right now, are not getting paid. You also have people in the armed services that are not getting paid, that are lined up at those damn food banks. Now you got over 40-something million people that will not be receiving their SNAP that's going to need food as well. So I do expect an uptick in shoplifting. Do what the fuck you got to do to survive.
Family. For the longest time, we've seen white people, just laugh and mock black folks, saying that black people fully depend on SNAP benefits. We've seen a lady, a white lady specifically, go online laughing at black people, saying that black people are actually welfare parasites. Black people are the welfare queens. But family, right now we've started to see these from a different perspective, because right now, after Donald Trump mentioned that there will be no food stamps for the month of November, we've now seen white people cry asking for help. The same white folks who are saying that only black people actually depend on these welfare programs. Family, this has come in a very timely time. Right now, in the month of November, when Donald Trump has decided that due to the government shutdown, he won't be able to fund the SNAP benefits. Family, for the longest time, the wrong ideology has been outside there. For the longest time, they've lied and laughed at black people, mocked black people. But right now, when you look at the statistics, you'll notice that 75% of SNAP beneficiaries are white people. You know, not the lie that most of them have been pushing online. Family, I want you to watch this video all the way to the end as white people cry and beg for help from other folks, because times are difficult, no SNAP benefits for the month of November, and it's becoming crazy and crazy. Family, once the video is done, we will get back and do a critical analysis about the same. Let's watch this video together, family.
So I just received an email from my food stamp benefits saying that if the government shutdown lasts longer than this month, I will not be receiving any benefits next month. And it's like, this month is kind of already done with, so I don't really see the government opening back up before October's over. What I get paid equals to the amount of what my bills are. Just bills. So that doesn't include diapers and wipes, gas, food. It's just the rent, the water, the electricity, the cable, the internet, my phone bill, and my car insurance. That's the bill. I find myself left struggling to put gas in my car, buy diapers and wipes, and food. Luckily, I have food stamp benefits. So if I don't receive my food stamp benefits next month, it's like, and it's not like I'm like sitting around being lazy just collecting help from the government. I work full time. It's just everything's increasing except my pay rate. There's a lot of people that are in my situation that work full time and still cannot afford to buy food because your paychecks literally cover just bills. So me seeing that email on my phone just now kind of like blew my whole evening, because I wasn't really believing the rumors. I don't really follow the news and all that. I mean, us moms always figure it out. We're always gonna find a way. But it is kind of stressful, like having to now think about how I'm gonna buy food next month, plus all my bills that I can barely afford anyways.
If you are naive enough to think that the pause to SNAP benefits on November 1st isn't going to affect you because you don't receive food stamps, I want you to hear this. About 1 in 8 Americans receive SNAP benefits. In fact, in Oklahoma, where I live, that's 1 in 6 people. So about 600,000 people in my state alone, Oklahoma, receive SNAP benefits. About 1 in 4 children in the U.S. receive SNAP benefits. But you're not one of those people, so you don't care, but hang with me. When those benefits go away, just about $9 billion in grocery spending vanishes. So you've got to be thinking about not just the grocery stores being able to stay open and pay their employees, but you have to think about the entire supply chain, trucks on the road, people who provide food to these grocery stores. $9 billion. Every dollar spent in SNAP benefits adds about $1.50 to $1.80 to the economy. So cutting those benefits isn't saving that dollar, it's taking away that $1.50 to your local economy. But you don't receive SNAP benefits, you don't work for a grocery store, you don't drive a truck, you don't give a shit. But when all of those things happen, the only way to combat that is to drastically increase the price of groceries. Grocery prices are already up over 3% in 2025 alone, which is almost an entire percentage higher than the average increase in grocery prices over the last 20 years. I thought they were supposed to go down day one though. So even if SNAP benefits only pause for 1 month, which by the way would be detrimental to all the people I mentioned before that you don't give a shit about, it will cost the economy roughly $13 to $14 billion in profit. And you can expect your grocery prices in just that 1 month to go up at least 1%. And states will stand to lose about $300 to $500 million in sales tax revenue. So even if you do not receive SNAP benefits, you never have, you never will, you do not want these to be paused on November 1st.
People frequently claim that immigrants and poor Black families are living off the system. They're on welfare. They're mooching. But here is the truth. The majority of people on public assistance in the United States of America are white, and most of them have jobs. They just don't make enough money to survive without a little bit more because wages are low, rent is high, a lot of jobs don't come with benefits anymore. You can't have a job without a cell phone. You can't even find a job without the internet. But it's not poor people who are eating up the most dollars in public assistance. Nope, it's the middle class. It's people who can take mortgage deductions, and of course, corporations cashing in on subsidies. But nobody calls that a handout. SNAP, Medicaid, housing assistance, those aren't loopholes to help billionaires save some more money and line their pockets so that they can get more yachts or whatever they do with it. They're lifelines for millions of people. And here's the kicker. Those programs keep all of us safer and more stable. If you're mad that someone's getting help, maybe just look at why they need it, not just who they are. Think about this. A friend of mine said he grew up in a third world country, and he said that in those countries, petty theft and, pickpocketing and crimes like that are common because people have to do that to get enough money to buy food and to pay for a place to stay. That's going to happen in our country if we don't get curious about where the waste in our government really exists.
Okay, listen, white people. Specifically the ones that are bitching about SNAP benefits and what people are buying with their SNAP benefits, all that stuff. If you have a problem with it, I'm hoping you'll listen to me. Probably not, but let's see. I am 53 years old. I have been working consistently for most of my adult life. I was laid off in April. I have been diligently looking for a job since then. I desperately want to work. I am very fortunate in my circumstances. If it wasn't for my mom, for my family, I would probably be homeless, living in my Jeep because I own it. I had unemployment. My unemployment ran out. I applied for food stamps, right? Went through the whole rigmarole. It is not efficient. You can't just easily get it. It's not easy to get, okay? I was denied because I have a little bit of savings. You have to be completely broke to get food stamps, okay? I have been paying, since April, I have been paying over $800 a month for COBRA to still have health insurance. I'm almost out of money, all right? And I was denied food stamps. So cut the bullshit with, oh, people are abusing it and they're getting $1,100. No. I had EBT before because my ex-husband couldn't keep a job. And for the two of us, two adults, we got right around like $250 a month for all of our groceries. The biggest percentage of people that have SNAP are white people. Most people that have SNAP have jobs too. You don't care what they get. You don't really care. And if you proclaim to be Christian and have Bible verses in your profile, you're the worst. Because this is not what Jesus would do. And I'm not religious, but if you proclaim to be, you can't pick and choose and then say, force women to have children and then take away any leg up they have after that. School lunch programs where underprivileged kids get free lunches or discounted lunches, that's part of SNAP. So if you have a problem with helping out other people, you're what's wrong with this country. It isn't just about you. All right? I know the people that need to hear it probably won't, but I thought possibly, maybe, if they hear it from a white woman who has always worked and now is trying to work and can't find a job, maybe they'll listen. I doubt it, but I gave it a shot. Okay, bye.
Oh, you think 20 million people losing their health care is going to be bad? How about we just starve 40 million and you bitches decide which is worse? Hey, Shug, here's what you need to know as we get ready to go into November. The government is still shut down. Why is the government shut down? Because the Democrats will not approve the budget, the proposed budget. Why won't the Democrats approve the proposed budget? The proposed budget has something in it that fucks 20 million people out of their health care. Okay? So, the Democrats have said, no, bro, we're not voting. That shit needs to get fixed. You can't do that. You can't screw 20 million people out of their health care. We can't do that. So, the government has been shut down. Now, because the first of the month is coming up and there has been no budget passed, and the reason that there's been no budget passed is because they don't want to fuck 20 million people out of their health care. With the first coming up, now is the possibility that 40 million people could lose their food assistance. Essentially, this administration said, oh, you think 20 million people losing their health care is going to be bad? How about we just starve 40 million and you bitches decide which is worse?
Woke take, I guess, but food shouldn't be used as a weapon, and everyone deserves to eat, even if they're poor. I feel like a lot of people are forgetting that these SNAP cuts will directly affect children, and if you're not forgetting that, you're just fucking evil. I want you to think about the last time you actually felt hunger. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. And if you're naive enough to think that this won't affect you, you're wrong.
I love these ladies. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that information. It's literally, it's messed up because what's happening is it's a pissing contest. It's playing chicken. Who's gonna give up? Who's gonna pull out first, right? And the problem with all of that is we have the money. We have $5 billion in reserve for emergencies like this. But this administration is not using that money. The American public is going to suffer. Not the only ones, not the ones that are on SNAP. Because if the recipients of food stamps or SNAP, if they don't receive the money, they can't spend the money in the grocery stores. If they don't spend the money in the grocery stores, that means that the grocery stores, in order to make money, they're going to have to increase their prices. When they increase their prices, that means everyone suffers. And I don't know about you all, but I do grocery shopping every week. I've been doing it for the last couple years. Like, that's my job. And I have seen my grocery bill increase by $100, $200, $500 in a year. And I get the same things every week. So we are all going to suffer because somebody wants to stand and sit on their throne and like, nope, do what I say or they are going to suffer. So what are you going to do?
Family, I knew good well that a time will come like this one where now we'll get to understand and get to know, where white people stand when it comes to SNAP benefits. For the longest time, they've been laughing at black folks. They've been saying that people of color are lazy people, that people of color cannot be able to put food, on their table for their families. And right now we are noticing that more than 75% of the beneficiaries, of food stamps are actually white people. This is something that most of us didn't know, considering how much white people have been going online, pushing agendas, saying that black people actually depend on this welfare than white folks. Family, right now we are seeing white people cry. They are now asking their neighbors, they are now asking fellow citizens to come through for them. This very, very same demographic of people who've been laughing and mocking black folks are now accepting that indeed they've been for the longest time depending, for help from the government of the day. We understand life in America right now is very, very crazy. The very same person who's ensured that now there are no SNAP benefits for the month of November was voted in by white people. White folks actually voted for Donald Trump because they wanted to push whiteness. They wanted whiteness to continue. Their only reason to give Donald Trump votes for the second term as the president of the United States of America is all because that Donald Trump is a white man. And his biggest competitor was a black woman, a woman of color. And that was the biggest enemy for many white people, when it came to the biggest seat in the United States of America, the presidency. Family, right now we are seeing them regretting voting for Donald Trump. We are seeing them cry about the very, very high cost of living. Most Americans cannot be able to afford groceries. Groceries are very, very expensive. And at the same time, right now with the government shutdown, Donald Trump mentioned that now they'll not be getting food stamps for the month of November. Times are becoming crazier and crazier as days goes by. They voted for a leader who's now against them. A leader who now is ensuring that Americans cannot get food on their tables. Most Americans are actually depending on SNAP benefits. Just imagine more than 45 million Americans directly use food stamps to ensure that they and their families have food on their table. The biggest demographic being white people. The very same people who actually voted for Donald Trump overwhelmingly. Family, this is just a wake-up call for white people. That in the next election, they'll choose a leader, not only because of color, but now the main thing that they should look at is what the leader is offering them as their citizens. Sometimes they look at white folks and they pity them because most people of color actually saw this coming. They actually want white people. They knew, they were laughing. They thought that these benefits would only benefit black folks. They were laughing and praising themselves, saying they can be able to feed themselves. They do not need federal support. They do not need money from the government. But right now we are seeing them cry. Their cards do not have money. They cannot be able to shop for foodstuffs on the supermarket. We've seen grocery stores being threatened by most Americans, saying that they shall sort, to start stealing for them to be able to eat. These are things that could actually be avoided if Americans, especially white folks, could have chosen the rightful leaders, in these positions of governorship. Family, these are crazy, crazy times. And this is all thanks to white people who actually were looking at their interests, thinking that if anything would be able to benefit a black man, they wouldn't get the very same support. But that has always been a big lie. Look at the healthcare system in America today. Just imagine America, one of the biggest countries in the world, does not have the universal healthcare. They did not want that cover to be in America because they thought that black people would also benefit from the same. But family, you notice right now that every other American is struggling. There are also cuts in Medicare and Medicaid. It doesn't matter the color of their skin. It doesn't matter the leader you chose. Right now, everyone is going deeper and deeper into their pockets to ensure that now they are able to get healthcare services in hospitals in the United States of America. Everything is becoming expensive. Life is skyrocketing each and every day. The number of times you'll see white tears online, white people on TikTok and other social media platforms crying over the cost of living, crying over the lack of SNAP benefits for the month of November, you'll notice that a lot of these folks are actually regretting voting for Donald Trump. Right now, most of them are asking for help. Most black people are laughing, because they've been struggling for the longest time. They knew that this would be coming. Black people have always been subjected to a lot of unfairness over the years. They are used to it. A black man would always ensure, in a system that does not want to support them, they have to find their own ways to ensure that now they put food on the table. White people are not used to this, especially white people on the food programs. They knew that the government would help them, but right now they are seeing something different that they actually did not anticipate for. The lack of food stamps has proven how white folks were depending on it, but they were lying to us. They went online laughing, saying that people of color were actually the biggest beneficiaries, that they did not need it that much. But family, once, food stamps was announced not to be there from November the 1st, we are now starting to see them coming out, asking for help. A very, very big demographic that usually laughed at black people. Usually they used to say that SNAP benefits are meant for blacks, and they used to say that black people of color, are actually lazy. That's why they depend fully on SNAP benefits. And now we are finding out that 75% of the SNAP beneficiaries are actually white folks. Family, the other people who are actually, after 75% of the whole American generation being white people depending on food stamps, we have people of color as one of the least of the percentages, and now we have children who do not have parents who fully depend on the SNAP benefits to ensure that they get the health care, they get food stamps, they get food, But family, they've been pushing an agenda that was meant to lie and was meant to mock black people, to make black people to feel as inferior, to make black people feel that they cannot survive without the help of the government of the day. Family, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about the sudden change, of emotions. White folks are now crying, asking for help. Let me know in the comments what you think about the same. Kindly like the video so that it can be recommended to other YouTube users, and I'd be very, very grateful. Lastly, I really appreciate if you all took your time to subscribe to the channel. We are currently on the road to 50,000 subscribers, fam. I'd really, really appreciate if you'd be a part, of the group of people who'd make up, the 50K mark. Family, thank you so, so much, and I highly, highly appreciate your support. The goal of this channel has always been to talk about black stories, black history, and ensure that we tell our stories as black people the black way. Because if we give the white supremacists an opportunity, many a times they whitewash our stories. Family, thank you so much, and see you all in our next episode. Goodbye for now.